Hello, darling. This is Libra Light, and I am here with your August 2020 tarot scope for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. Thank you for visiting my channel. We're going to dive right into the tarot, and then after, I'm going to pull a conscious spirit oracle card for you, okay? All right, let's get started. Sagittarius. Okay. All major arcana on the bottom. All right. So Sagittarius. Um, I see something here is giving me the impression of ways that you have that were developed like as a child, maybe some things that you seen your father do, or the absence of him, maybe like his selfish ways, like your I don't know if you're thinking of those ways or if you are like making actions that are reflecting some of his ways, because you're like, that's what you were taught. And it could come from, with the four swords out here, it could come from abandonment as a child, like your father wasn't present, or he was lacking in like taking care of you in some way. But I'm really getting the impression of those things kind of like sitting with you for some reason now at this moment. It could have something to do with like the way that you deal with your current relationship. Like you don't give a lot because you kind of have this like preconceived notion about the way that men behave because it's what you've seen your dad do, or because of the abandonment that you experienced as a child. Like you might cling a lot to men, and then they end up running away. So this reading here, with all this major arcana, like at the foundation of the reading, it's saying to me that some judgment is being placed on you. It's making you kind of open your eyes about a cycle that you keep falling into, that leads you at the end being left alone. I feel like you put way too much stock into the things that you see in your past. Although that, our past, it does have a lot to do. It's a big impression on how we are as adults today. But what you have to understand is that your body has grown, you have grown, your mind has grown, and so because of that, you can't operate in those same beliefs the way that you like. Oh, my father left me because I wasn't good enough. You can't keep thinking that, or he didn't have time for me because he found other things to be more important. And then so when your man wants to go like play ball with his boys or something, or go play the video game, then you're crushed because you think the same thing from the past. But I just feel like some of those ways you need to look at, some of those thought patterns you need to look at and reevaluate them, because you need to see how they're playing in your life right now and how they may not be working for you. It could be leading you to like a detriment. And the truth of the matter is that men are selfish, but I feel like us as humans that we are selfish, and there's nothing wrong with that. You do have to consider the other person that you're dealing with, because you want to be loving and caring and compassionate, but at the end of the day, it's about you. Another scenario that I'm seeing here is where you could be sitting in your masculine energy at, in this month of August. And because of that, you're kind of like cutthroat with your lovers, especially one who you dealt with in the past, who may have hurt you. And like now you're like, I'm scorned because of this motherfucker. And every man after is finna get treated like shit, because that's all they understand based on the interaction and the relationship you have with this one man. And I'm here to tell you that the cards are suggesting that that is a broken way of thinking, and that it won't lead you to anything that is prosperous. I see there's disappointments. I see you could also be overindulging in something. It could be alcohol or something that's no good for you, Saggy. So, also I see that you need to maybe be careful with your money, and also if there's something that like somebody's pitching something to you, like they want you to invest in something, you need to read the fine print in regards to that. And then don't do it like, okay, like if you have a family member and they want you to invest in something, and you know you want to be supportive because they always talking about how if your family don't support you, you know they ain't shit. No, if it doesn't look legit, or if it's not something that you want to put your money into, have no problem saying no. Do not think with your heart, think with your logic. That's what I'm seeing here, because if you think with your heart, you'll just end up resenting it later, and then it was never the way that it was intended to be, like the way that you were thinking in the first place, like, okay, let me be a loving, supportive relative and support this person. It never will end up like that, because you'll end up resenting the whole last situation. So be reserved in your spending, be reserved in anything that someone brings to you, and also reevaluate your thought process in regards to how you deal in relationships, because it looks like judgment is here, and it's saying that you will be stuck in this cycle unless you break free. Okay, so here's the oracle card that came out. It is the third eye chakra. I see the wisdom of my higher self and apply the wisdom in my life. I feel like that's tremendously fitting. Like I said, open up your mind to a more advanced way of thinking. Like you have to consider, even if this was your father who abandoned you or treated you this way, that you never know what he had going on in his life, or the way he was treated as a child. It could have had nothing to do with you, and you just got, like, you know, the little side effects of his whole demeanor. So take that into consideration. Even with, if it was an ex situation, you have to think of, did I apply, you know, was I too clingy? Was I, what's the word when you're not connected with a person? And think about all outcomes involved, and remove your emotions from it, and look at it at a more logical standpoint, and it could kind of help you to remove yourself out of this cycle that judgment looks like. And it doesn't look like a good cycle, because the way that it sits here with the devil too, it just looks like that your way of thinking, the way that you were taught, is failing you now at this point in your life. And so open up your mind to think a different way. Okay, Sagittarius. I hope this reading resonates, and be well.